Factions of the Chukchansi tribe look to resolve yesterday's violence. I actually have to think of myself eating this muffin. They literally let us into the store one at a time to purchase them. Then they were all gone, and that was it. It's a hot new diet out there that allows you to indulge all your cravings. Sort of.
I'm doing the best I can here. You guys are more experienced than I am.
And you can feel the excitement in the air for the season. It's not just the humidity. Meanwhile, the search continues for a man who escaped from a minimum security prison camp in Lompoc. Yes, 1144 is an old number. That was just a couple of minutes ago. And Kate Winslet apparently gets naked in every single movie she's in. It's a tale of two trends, one positive, one negative. So Stephanie put me to the test. First, some eye cream. Tribe members have called a truce for now. Another person with a fastball is Stephanie. She's throwing out the first pitch at the Grizzlies game tonight. Sometimes being a music star can be a real kick in the head. Yesterday, just a completely chaotic scene. And believe me, by the smiles on their faces, they are very grateful. And I'm David Marcus. Coming up next on the news at 6, an uneasy truce at the Chukchansi Reservation as both sides of a tribal rift agree to disagree for now. A Valley kindergarten teacher is going to trial as investigators allege she brought drugs and weapons into the classroom. And it's the rarest of days, so rare, it only comes around every 4 years. We'll take a closer look at Leap Day and just what it means. News at 6 starts right now. And a heavy law enforcement presence continues tonight at the tribal offices. That is where we find our Audrey Assistio. And Audrey, obviously yesterday, just a completely chaotic scene. What is the mood like right now? All right, Audrey, thank you so much. Now, tribal election officials have agreed to speak with the media a little bit later tonight, and we will bring that to you on later editions of KC24 News. More water could be coming to the Central Valley. That's thanks to a new bill passed today in the House of Representatives. That bill, introduced by Congressman Devin Nunes, would block the restoration of the San Joaquin River. The legislation would start up the export pumps near Tracy, which would send more water to cities and farms, mostly south of the Delta. The bill now moves on to the Senate, where it's likely to receive a great deal of opposition. The White House has already vowed to veto that bill. Precipitation, the big story today. Let's join AJ Fox with the first look.
Right, I got a note from...
Turning to state news now, Governor Brown wants to cut California's welfare to work program by more than $1 billion. But opponents are hoping a tax increase can actually keep the program alive. Those budget cuts would be on top of the already $3 billion cut from CalWORKs since 2008. On the chopping block this time, though, cutting in half the time a parent can be on CalWORKs from 48 months down to 24. It would also reduce the amount of money going to low-income families with children.
If they lose all assistance.
I'm glad as a...
Assemblymember Holly Mitchell is against additional cuts to CalWORKs. She says the alternative is more taxes, is calling for those who make a little more to pay a little more. Much more ahead tonight on the news at 6. First, you could call it a calendar conundrum. It is a confusing day. It is Leap Day, and parents of kids born today are trying to figure out exactly when they will celebrate their baby's birthday. Well, Stephanie, the numbers just continue to go up. Right now, the total 1,144 turkeys today. Absolutely amazing. People have really been so generous today coming by our studio since early this morning. Joining us now, Jody Hudson of Catholic Charities. Jody, when you think about the response today, especially when the weather has been so bad, it has to make you feel so great.
It really does. I mean, this is...
What are you hearing from people as they drop off these turkeys? Obviously, we're seeing some right now.
Yes. You know what? People are saying they might today.
Right. And what this means in front of us, what we're seeing right now, is that so many families who were going to go without will not now.
Yeah. And as we know, there's been such a shortage for them.
All right. Jody Hudson, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Again, I guess 1144 is an old number. That was just a couple of minutes ago. Probably over or close to 1,150 right now, Stephanie. And you have until 7:30 tonight. We expect to see many more cars coming by here at our studios, and as you can see, we've filled one whole bin here, and the second one is well underway, Stephanie. So right now, things going great out here at the turkey drive. Her recovery will be long and costly, and tonight, in a touching show of support, friends and strangers came together to raise money for Shayla. They lined up late afternoon and throughout the night, waiting for up to an hour in line. Friends and supporters of Shayla Workington came out to every Chipotle restaurant in Fresno tonight. 50% of profits between 5 and 9 p.m. went towards her family and Shayla's medical bills.
It's important because Shayla has touched the hearts of many, and
we just wanted to give her a little something back, and obviously this has made a big turnout. The Big Garden Chipotle has also the line going down like the rows of stores, and it was just crazy.
Doug Lasher read about tonight's donation event on Facebook. He's never met Shayla or her family, but wanted to come out to lend his support.
I talked to my daughter, and we decided to come down here and be supportive of the cause because it was terrible, the accident they got into. And I know if it happened to my daughter, I would want people to come down and do the same thing for her.
Shayla's injuries are devastating. There is a chance she may be blind for the rest of her life. More surgeries and extensive treatments are sure to follow. That's why an event like tonight was so important.
It's going to be a slow progress. They did talk to the neurosurgeon today and got a little bit more information, and you know, it's going to be a little bit of an up and down thing. You know, be some progress, and then it'll look like she takes a few steps back, but it's just the nature of the injuries. But the fact that she's, you know, in a step-down unit now after 3 weeks is a good positive thing.
What a tremendous show of support tonight. If you would like to make a contribution to Shayla and her family, you have two options. You can contact the family directly at prayersforshayla@gmail.com, or you can go to this website, www.caringbridge.org/visit/Shayla/my story. And as we saw, friends and strangers alike came out to support this cause. This really is something that has touched everyone in the community. And for much of the afternoon, traffic on the Grapevine was shut down, has just reopened after being closed for a few hours due to snow accumulation. We begin tonight with AJ Fox in the Weather Plus Center. And AJ, it's kind of a wild day. A bitter tribal council power dispute is continuing at the Chukchansi Indian Reservation.
A feud has caused...
Turning to the day's top national news now, a high school student is dead tonight and 4 others wounded after a fellow classmate opened fire inside a high school cafeteria. This was this morning. Gunshots rang out before the first bell at Chardon High School in Ohio. A student armed with a handgun fired on classmates gathered in this busy school cafeteria. Fellow student Nate Muller was grazed by one of those gunshots.
Yes.
Unfortunately, 5 of his classmates were not so lucky. 1 was killed during that rampage. 4 others rushed to area hospitals. Witnesses described the gunman as silent and determined during that attack. The teen was apparently forced from the building by a teacher, later surrendered to bystanders just a few blocks from that school. We will have much more on this story coming up on the news at 6:30. A bitter tribal council power dispute continues at the Chukchansi Indian Reservation. A group led by Morris Reed took over the tribal council office this morning. Reed says he was voted onto the council back in December, but the defeated candidates refused to leave office. Tribal leaders now camped out in an adjacent building, and both sides have been feuding over elections results and disenrollment issues for a long time now.
They broke the law, and we're going to stand our ground.
And both sides have now agreed to meet. No word yet whether any of those issues have been resolved. President Obama is urging state leaders to invest in education. Governor Jerry Brown is in Washington, D.C. for the annual Governors Association meeting. The president told state leaders he does understand money is tight right now, but says there are simply too many cuts being made in the classroom. California is one of 40 states that has cut support to higher education to deal with budget shortfalls.
No hiring here.
And needless to say, Cal State officials are hoping Governor Brown will listen. The state has cut nearly $1 billion from the CSU system since 2007, and another $200 million in cuts is expected in the next fiscal year. Well, tomorrow's Michigan primary is a must-win for Mitt Romney in his home state. And if the polls are accurate, his chances for a win have now improved since Rick Santorum revealed his passionate Christian conservatism on social issues. Steve Handelsman has the very latest from the campaign trail.
Thank you so much.
And what better way to celebrate Clovis than to go shopping at the mall there?
You can do that too.
You can do that too and have a good time.
That's included. Absolutely.
That's right. Still ahead on KC24 News at 5, more violence erupts in Afghanistan as fallout from the Quran burning continues. Well, you just might be in luck. There is a hot new diet out there that allows you to indulge all your cravings. Sort of. This new program is all in your head. Like many of us, Tina Javeri has a problem with food.
I am always someone that has had to watch my weight, and I've struggled with it.
But a new study at Carnegie Mellon University finds that just thinking about your favorite food can actually make you feel like you've just eaten it.
It's not a myth. The research that they've done has found that by imagining certain foods, you can become satiated or habituated to that food and then not crave it as much.
Lori Granger teaches a program called Mindful Eating right here in Fresno. It focuses on trying to imagine the food you want to eat. Granger says this not only makes you feel fuller, but encourages you to slow down and really enjoy your food when you do eat.
It's basically shedding light on what we already know, that the mind and the body are absolutely connected, and that what the mind experiences, the body also experiences.
But researchers say it's not enough to simply imagine the food. You have to get more detailed than that. So to fool my body into thinking it's eaten this muffin, I actually have to think of myself eating this muffin.
When you think about chewing, swallowing, the feeling of fullness, which is something that we do in our mindful eating exercises with a raisin, there's an experience of all of these parts of the body being engaged, because the mind can mimic the body.
And that's great news for Tina Javeri.
I'm visualizing having a great meal and actually when I get there, not finish the whole thing.
Oh, the power of the mind. Now, experts say you should not use or overuse this as a hardcore, fully fledged diet to the exclusion of eating good, healthy meals. Just use it instead as a useful tool. Also, imagining alcohol and drugs doesn't work and is actually counterproductive. The bottom line, use your head and eat slowly. We're back with the forecast after this.